Hello everyone, my name is Ruto Gaming and welcome to Dark Souls 1, in which I'm going to be doing a let's play of this from beginning to start. I've only got to the depths where the gaping dragon is. So I haven't completed the game, right? If I complete the game in this run, it will be my first time ever completing the game, and I will be glad. I'll also be forcing Dark Souls out of my life because it's a very bad influence. It's made me want to kill everyone. It's an evil game. So, I'm gonna start this game so you can see I'm a female. My class is Pyromancy. I have the Master Key. And those are the only three things that matter. In fact, the gender doesn't even matter. Just the class and the gift are what matters. Everything else is irrelevant. My name is YouTuber's Love. Let's accept, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up so you can watch this cutscene. In fact, I'll move the mic away from my mouth. Yes.
In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the Scaleless, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Okay, so this is you, the chosen undead, and for all those wondering, I'm actually playing on PC. It just seems like I'm playing on Xbox because, you know, magical stuff. Let's just do that and get rid of that. Okay, there, done. So yeah, I'm playing on PC because PC version, woohoo, still sucks. These little messages are tutorial messages that tell you the basics, like how to attack and move. But of course, me being the person I am, I haven't played these games. I know stuff. I don't like that guy. I've heard rumors about him. I'm gonna try and teach you a little bit of the lore. So, Seath the Scaleless. The scales of a dragon actually make them immortal. So Seath, like, you know, killed the dragons because I think because they were immortal. I kind of like the reasoning of, if you've ever seen, I'm gonna link a video in the description. It's called It's Amazing. It's called Dark Souls in Summary, and it's excellent. It's essentially just animated by this guy, and he done the whole of the voice cast himself. And there's like 15 or 20 distinct voices in there, which is just insane. Like, really insane. So you rest at a bonfire, and you basically regain health, but there's also a few other things you regain, and you'll see them later. So I'm just gonna equip my shield. The pyromancy shield is really bad, like really bad. I recommend you get the heater shield, which is a shield you'll see later with the undead merchant. So yeah, backstab this guy. Wasn't even planning on doing that. Still did it though. So you saw you probably saw the guy in the small window. Well, that was the undead asylum demon. Now this guy is Oscar Pistorius. He basically, it's believed that what happens is he drops the body carrying the key in your cell, and then he goes to attack the asylum demon, but the asylum demon attacks him back and sends him flying into this small room. I'll show you like sort of what happens later. So you've got this boulder, and flying into this small room, which kind of is punctuated more by the fact that there's a big hole in the roof. So it's reasonable to assume that he got like slammed or thrown or something into this area. The asylum demon just walked away thinking he was dead.
You're no hollow. Thank goodness. I'm done for, I'm afraid. I'll die soon, then lose my sanity. I wish to ask something of you. You and I are both undead. Hear me out, will you?
Sure.
Regrettably, I have failed in my mission. But perhaps you can keep the torch lit. There is an old saying in my family. Thou who art undead art chosen, and thine exodus from the undead asylum maketh pilgrimage to the land of ancient lords. When thou ringest the bell of awakening, the fate of the undead thou shalt know. Well, now you know. And I can die with hope in my heart. Oh, one more thing. Here, take this. An Estus flask. An undead favorite.
Whoops, apologies. Estus flasks are amazing.
Now I would hate to harm you, and thank you.
Like, amazing. Sorry, let me check if my mic's still on. I accidentally pressed a button. Yep, mic is still on, no need to worry. So, that's kind of I'd say a widely accepted fan theory.
Now I would hate to.
But this guy's cool. He also has a really long family saying, so whatever, but you know, you can't really complain. I mean, the guy is in the middle of dying. He can't really, you know, he's got to say his words carefully, I think. Anyway, Estus flasks are your main healing item, and if you've ever played, you may have played Dark Souls 2, because that's, I've heard that one like got more access with, you know, new people and things. I've heard that one at least like engages more people. If you've ever played Dark Souls 2 but you haven't played Dark Souls 1, you may know of a thing in Dark Souls 2 called human effigies. Every time you die, you lose a small percentage of maximum health. That is not the case in Dark Souls 1. In Dark Souls 1, if you die and you don't lose any health. You lose your souls, which is a small counter in the bottom right, which is used to buy things. And I think the reason why they did that was so you couldn't just mindlessly farm, like without any risk or something, you know, like if you died you couldn't just go and get your health back. You had to, you know, you couldn't just go and get your souls back. You also had like lost health to deal with. But I find that mechanic really stupid, simply because it wasn't in Dark Souls 1 and it wasn't needed. Dark Souls 1 was already difficult enough, and sure, grinding made it less difficult, but like, that's not the right way to deal with grinding. That's like if someone grinds for 5 minutes, fucking... Okay. No, sorry, I'm talking about the completely wrong thing. Dark Souls gets rid of grinding by, if you kill an enemy a certain number of times, say 10 or 15, that enemy no longer respawns. Whenever you rest at a bonfire, every enemy respawns except for some specific enemies. In Dark Souls, those are the Black Knights, which are big, pretty strong, and can kill you quite easily. Crystal Lizards. I should shut up.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords.
Lordran.
Lordran.
So I'm actually going to be doing something small in this playthrough, which if you follow my instructions, you'll do great. Like, if you follow my instructions as I say them, you'll do great at the start of the game, because you'll already have an upgrade to your Estus Flask, which is fantastic at one of the very first points in the game. So if you just rest, and I'm gonna turn up my dexterity. And can I turn up my attunement some more? Yes, I can. So, different stats mean different things, and I honestly don't know everything, so if you want to learn more about the stats of Dark Souls, I recommend you search up a YouTube video on the subject, because I'm sure a YouTube video or the official Dark Souls wiki would know more than I do. Most of what I know has been taught to me by my friend, who has helped me a lot. Evil Brick, you may know him as. But one of the things I do like in Dark Souls about the I was mentioning the losing health thing. Well, every time you die, so every time you die you lose a part of your maximum health. And you need to use human effigies to remind you that you're human, because like the thing of going hollow is you're forgetting about being human. You know, you're slowly becoming more and more like an aggressive, mindless thing. Which I really like the idea of, but I don't like how they did it. Kind of, it wasn't needed, and it kind of just adds unnecessary difficulty to a game in which should already be difficult just by the enemy and the level design alone. But you know, if why did they add that in if they didn't think their level design was good enough? They, I don't know, have some faith issues or something. I'm not entirely sure what prompted them to add in the option. But you want to come down here and grab the weapons, of course. By the way, roll into these things, like learn to roll a lot. Try not to attack barrels and things, just in case someone's stuck. And run across here. And you're gonna get your first Firekeeper Soul, which is amazing for like just a couple, like 10-20 minutes into the game. So run along here and you'll see some ghosts pop up. Now this is perfectly fine. In fact, you need these ghosts, kind of. It's too hard to get back on your way because, as you see, few spawn. So what you want to do is grab the Firekeeper Soul and let them kill you. It doesn't matter how you die, whether you suicide or you let them kill you, you'll keep the Firekeeper Soul. And the Firekeeper Soul lets you upgrade your Estus Flask. Whenever you drink an Estus like this, you replenish health. So right now I believe I'm replenishing 2 bars of health. I can easily turn that up to 3 bars of health by coming down here and talking to this woman. Her name is Anastasia. If you talk to her and say reinforce Estus Flask, you can do that. Now, another tip for new players. Well, another tip for even some, you know, more experienced players I've seen have missed this. But there's a brilliant spot here. Just jump down. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Roll. And over here you have, first off, Cracked Red Eye Orb, which lets you invade other people's worlds. A Morning Star and a Talisman. A Talisman allows you to cast miracles, I believe. Homeward Bone, which takes you to the last bonfire you were at. And the Lloyd's Talisman, which prevents players and enemies from using their Estus to heal. Because you are not the only person who has Estus, and if you get invaded by a character, if you give them that thing, they can't heal at all. Now, just go and loot these corpses. Doesn't matter in what order you do it in. Just loot them and grab the stuff they have. They normally have pretty cool stuff. If I'm correct. Crap, that was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. Okay, well, I'm dead, but I had 0 souls, and there was no risk in me dying. Now, some people, I know, like, a friend of mine complained that Dark Souls, dying in Dark Souls had really no consequence. And while that's true, it's also not. Let's say you've killed 2,000. Let's say you've killed 2,000 souls worth of enemies. So that's probably about 5 enemies in the later game, or so. Like 1 enemy in the later game. But let's say that enemy is hard. So a weak enemy, which you can kill quite easily, drops 60 souls. A harder enemy drops much more souls. That does mean, however, with a harder enemy, you get a lot more challenge. And so it kind of balances out in a way. And I really like Dark Souls is already hard enough. It doesn't need a really big penalty for when you die. And if they add a penalty, it's just because I couldn't be bothered to add any extra difficulty in a meaningful way. That's basically what it means. So I always hate these guys because they always do a slow attack and I always mess up the timing. Like sometimes it seems the timing is just completely random. It's like, oh, I'll hold my soul up for 5 seconds, and then the next time, oh, it's 3 seconds, bitch. You fucked up. So yeah, Sunny D. Always a good thing to have. Paramancy Flame, by the way. That's it. Damn it, I fucking missed. I am going to make it. So you want to also come along here and grab this item. The Ring of Sacrifice, which means when you die you lose absolutely nothing. But it also means that when you die you, the ring breaks. The ring essentially, like, breaks. There are some rings that break if you take them off. There are others that break if you die. I think that's the only one that actually breaks if you die. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know the whole game. As I've said, I've only beaten the, I've only rung the first Bell of Awakening, in which there are 2. Also, I just realized I completely forgot to do something, so I'm an idiot. Although I'm sure you already knew that. Jump. Nail it. I forgot to talk to Petrus of Thoroland. Now, you may talk to this guy near the thing, Crestfallen Warrior, I just call him. He's very pessimistic. Just talk to him if you want. He can teach you some pretty cool stuff. He tells you that there are 2 Bells of Awakening. And
hello there.
we're going to the...
If not, I prefer to...
first Bell of Awakening. Petrus of Thoroland, I kind of ignore him.
I realize that I have requested that we retain our distance. But I also want you to know that it is not meant in ill will. No, go ahead.
Oh, I skipped some dialogue accidentally.
Oh my. Oh, I know. I have to await my companions. So what if I were to teach you? Would that please you?
You can read if you want. I honestly don't mind about... I don't really care too much about him. So what I'm planning to do is getting to the first Undeadburg bonfire, which is...
Now let me share my miracle.
After...
Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined
you
by
meet the
your
Undead
efforts
Merchant.
and your faith.
Learn gesture. And purchase item. Not really anything I can use. Not at all. But I know where I'm going, luckily, and I kind of have the starting area down to a T in a way. Kill the Asylum Demon, grab the Firekeeper Soul, then give the Firekeeper Soul the stuff, steal the stuff from the graveyard, and so on and so forth. After that, not really too much down to a T. Like, I haven't really played Undeadburg that much to know exactly where every enemy is. I do know some of the secrets though. So I'm just gonna play like a normal person. So there's a bunch of enemies up here, as you'll soon see. Whoa, whoa, frame rate drop, what the fuck? Okay, that was really weird, and I'm sorry for anyone who experienced a jitteriness with their graphics. This shouldn't really be happening. I'm running an R9 290, which is really surprising that this is happening on it. Like, Dark Souls isn't a really graphically intensive game. Like Dark Souls 2 is a bit more graphically intensive, but no one really cares about Dark Souls 2. I'm kidding. But yeah, anyone who says like, yo, the game, I don't know. People are weird. When it comes to graphics, people are weird. It's like, this game isn't good unless it looks aesthetically pleasing. Well, fuck you. So have you ever played Zerg, bitch? Or what is it? Zorg or Zerg? The great text adventure that many people liked. I've played that myself. It was fun. I enjoyed it. It was a nice little adventure. It reminded me of those choose your own adventure books, in which I enjoyed. Yeah. So you want to loot that and you literally get rubbish. Like, that's literally the item name. I don't know how to get that. I'll figure that out one day. Maybe I won't. But yeah, you literally get rubbish. So get the humanity if you want. In fact, I recommend you get humanity because humanity's quite important in this game. I believe there's an enemy here. No, or an item here. And we gotta traverse the white light, which some people call it semen. And it's funny. But yes. Semen wall. Dragon. Big fucking dragon. And you have a few guys to deal with, which is fun. Now, there's plenty of different enemies. Of course, the early start of the game, the base game, really kind of teaches you a lot about the enemies. The one thing I didn't like about Dark Souls 2, and I haven't seen that much of Dark Souls 2, but like straight from the starting area, you can go to a really deadly area. But in Dark Souls 1, it's quite easy to tell that Undead Burg is where you need to go, simply because you don't really look around that much. Like, it's one of the first, you know, visually striking things out there. And I like it, honestly. I'm going to open this, and I'm going to get a special item called the Wooden Shield. I don't want the Wooden Shield, though. No, I want something else. Something completely different. I'm just going to kill this guy. Drink an Estus. I'm not actually planning on going to the bonfire just yet, because there's a few more items I need to get. Or rather, want to get. None of these items are exactly really rare or valuable, but if you are playing as a pyromancer, they're greatly needed, because even a pyromancer needs a shield. I don't care what the hell you say, a pyromancer should have a shield, because shields are awesome in Dark Souls and they can protect you from so much. So my personal recommendation for a shield is actually the Heater shield, and this guy here, the Undead Merchant, actually sells you it.
Then you are I trade for soul.
So I'm gonna very quickly purchase this item, which is the Heater shield, which I honestly, it's one of the better shields out there,
Thank you,
in my opinion. At least from what I've played, it has really good stats. It reduces 100% of physical damage, 70% of 30% of magic damage, 70% of fire damage, 50% of lightning damage, and has 55 stability, which is, I'm not entirely sure, like, I think that's kind of high stability. I also just realized I messed up again. There is something down here which I need to get. There's a guy stuck behind these walls. Now, this shield does mean that whenever I like have my shield up and I take a hit, I won't lose any health, which is really good. And that's the downside with some of the older shields. Like, the Pyromancer really starts with the shittest shield in the game. And it kind of makes some sense because the Fireball is really overpowered, like it does a lot of damage. And it can kill some enemies, like, instantly. Whereas the Hand Axe is pretty crap. But I'm not planning on using the Hand Axe forever, actually. There's a part where you get a shortcut, and I'll show you where, but there's a part where you get a shortcut, and that's probably when I'll be getting the thing. So you wanna just come over here and run and roll. Doesn't matter if you roll into these or not, I don't think there's ever anything in them. And usually there's an item in here. Oh yes, there is actually always a light crossbow and a standard and some standard bolts. It's a pretty good item. It's a pretty good pickup too. The crossbows aren't excellent. They mostly rely on lock-on. Whereas if you get like a short bow or a long bow, I believe they have like aiming. I think both do, though I'm not entirely sure. So we are at the bonfire in Undead Burg. So that means this episode is over for now. I will see you next Tuesday. I'll be updating this playthrough every Tuesday, or at least when I feel like it, to be honest. So, bye bye.